next show is, I don't know if I want to say Aka or just literally ACCA. I'll just say Aka 13-ku Kansatsuka. The story is set in a world separated into 13 wards, with each ward having an observation division controlled by the organization known as Aka. Maybe ACCA. They'll probably say ACCA in the show. I don't fucking know. The story centers on Jean, known as the craftiest member of ACCA. So if I had to make a prediction this season on various stuff, due to Little Witch Academia getting kind of fucked with Netflix and all, I think the most popular show that's going to air this season, other than like maybe a really popular sequel, is going to be this show. I think this is going to be the most popular show this season, not just because it's Madhouse and they're actually like, Madhouse was dying for the longest time. And then, I don't know if it was starting with One Punch Man or there was a show they did before that, but ever since then, they've been putting out like some pretty good shit. And it's like, holy shit, Madhouse is rising from the dead. Like, I remember the most recent show I watched from that they did was, oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but we covered it in Saturday Morning Ramblings. It was the one with the like lazy leader dude who was kind of like Lelouch-ish and Lelouch style and like stuff. Alderman, I remembered it. They did that. That was cool. I liked it. Not as crazy production value wise as something like One Punch Man, but again, like they've been on the up and up since then. But it's more than just Madhouse that's the reason for this. The reason is because the manga that this is based off of was written by someone named by a woman named Natsume Ono. And if that name didn't sound familiar to you, the stuff that she's done has. For one, she did a pretty popular among female audiences. She did Restaurant Paradiso. I probably butchered that pronunciation. But a popular choice among women as far as, I don't know about the manga, but the anime. It's got a bit of a cult following in that regard. But more popularly that I think everyone's ears are going to perk up on is she's the one who did House of Five Leaves, which is one of those like, I don't want to say pretentious shows, but one of those shows that like all critics are like, oh god, House of Five Leaves is so good. You know, that kind of thing. So kind of high class shit behind here. And that's not the only reason I'm not done yet. Literally all the information I could find on this was basically, other than maybe one thing, was like a reason that people are going to like this show. It probably won't have a lot of steam when it starts, but people are going to talk about it and it's going to pick up. The manga for this started in June 2013, but here's the thing. It ended in October 2016. Yeah, it's done, meaning this adaptation could very well adapt the entire manga, meaning no anime original ending, no cliffhangers. It'll adapt a manga from a renowned author from start to end. Another thing that could get people's attention there. Another thing, the director behind this is a guy named Shingo Natsume. And if, again, that name didn't sound familiar to you, let me just list that they did a show, I don't know, a couple people watched, I guess, called One Punch Man. He's done other stuff behind that. Like everyone knows, well, not everyone, but most people know at this point that Shingo Natsume was largely an animation director beforehand. He did lots of animation cuts, which is why when he was put on to direct One Punch Man, it had such a huge focus on animation because he was an animator himself and he had lots of friends in the animator community. So we got a lot of high-profile animators to help out with the show. So I don't know as far as like a more straightforward show like this, unless he brings them back and does some sweet-ass fucking animation cuts for this show, but who knows? The series composition person on this show was also the dude who did the One Punch Man script and composition with him. I should say the series composition guy for this show did the script and series composition for One Punch Man. So he and the director, he and Shingo Natsume have worked together already, so they probably are like kind of a team. They know what they're doing. The music guy has only done music for Galco-chan and Regalia the Three Sacred Stars. But if you look up the trailer for this, you'll hear the music in this is jazzy as fuck. And it's very obvious he's taking huge inspirations from, oh god, everyone's gonna hate me for forgetting her name. The chick who did the music for Cowboy Bebop and Zanku no Terror. I cannot remember her name right now because I always forget names. I'm so bad at them, which is why I need to write them down. That's the only reason I know all these names that I'm listing off right now. It's very jazzy. I think one of the main reasons people are going to pick up the show isn't just because people are going to like the show in and of itself, but people are going to be like, holy shit, have you heard the soundtrack on the show? It's fucking awesome. You should watch this. Because it's not uncommon for people to like the soundtrack of a show and be like, you should watch this show just because the soundtrack is good. Like I said, I would not be surprised if by the end of the season, this ends up being the most popular show that's airing. I would not be surprised. There's still the complete possibility it could completely shit itself because, again, staff doesn't guarantee quality or disaster. So there's always the possibility. But personally, even if it's just on like a music angle, I would not be surprised if this gets massive steam behind it. Definitely something to keep your eye on. I'm going to be watching it just because, like I said, I expect it to be the most popular airing show by the end. And it's actually on Crunchyroll, or maybe Funimation, I don't know. It's not on Amazon Prime, and it's not on Netflix. Let's put it that way. It's the most easily accessible show that's going to get a huge amount of attention. Like I said, otherwise that would probably just easily go to Little Witch Academia. Following that, we have Handshakers. The anime takes place in Osaka in AD 20, who knows, and revolves around handshakers, partners who can summon Nimrod. I'm just gonna say Nimrods. Who can summon Nimrods, weapons born from their psyche by joining hands. In order to grant the pair's wish, the handshakers compete with and fight other handshaker pairs. The top pair will then meet and challenge God. Kind of similar to Fate in that regard. Fate's Stay Night, and all the other Fate spinoffs. How they kind of have to fight each other, and then there's like a final thing at the end, and they get a wish. Anyways, they, the receivers of the revelation of Babel, they, the challengers to God, they who inevitably throw themselves into battle with their partners. What does God want from them? And did they want powers exceeding that of gods? The chosen ones, their souls linked, join hand in hand. It's supposed to be hand in hand, I believe, for the ziggurat where the fighting shall ensue. So in case the promo image wasn't obvious enough, this is done by largely the same team that worked on K. Also the same studio, Go Hands. They've done other stuff besides K, but K was probably their most like visually like noticeable show that they've done, for people paying attention to them. The weird thing for this is that I heard, and also kind of saw because I looked at the preview for this, is that this show is a CG show, but the characters didn't look very CG. So either the CG is like really fucking good, or it's not like 100% CG like other typical CG shows like Babuki Baranki and Knights of Sidonia and stuff like that. If it is full CG, kudos on them because the characters actually look like they're not CG. Although I will say the preview I watched had a fight cut in it, and holy shit, when the environment turned into 3D, it looked like ass. Like the characters and everything looked like blend together pretty well. But then when the CG fight started where like it was moving around the environment, like and like all the environment turned into like shitty 3D models, it looked bad. It doesn't help that like all the swinging around with the like if you're gonna do 3D models for the environment, do fucking like Ufotable style where like the frame rate doesn't get fucked to hell. Because that's one of the problems with CG looking so bad is that the frame rate for like the camera spinning around with the action is just like fucking 2 frames a second. It just looks like shit. It looks so bad. So the fight scene, or at least the one I saw in the preview, looked like gutter trash. But maybe it was an early cut and they fixed it up. Who knows? I almost want to watch it just because I want to know if the characters are actually CG or not. The preview I saw, like I said, they look so not CG, but I heard it was. So, like I said, it could just be for like fight scenes they turn CG or something, but I don't know. I heard it was CG. Anyways, unsurprisingly, the director behind this did K. The sound director also did K. Series composition guy was also on K, but he wasn't the series composition person on K. He was the series director for season 1 and the movie, and then co-directed the second season. The only other thing he's actually done series composition for was Sedokai Yakuin Domo season 2, which is a weird pivot. I actually think Sedokai Yakuin Domo is another Gohan show. I think I remember when I looked it up, it actually was credited behind Gohan's. So, or at least the second season was. I don't know about the first season. One of the seasons I think was Gohan's. But yeah, it's weird for the series composition person that's on this only did series composition for Sedokai Yakuin Domo season 2. They were the director for the first season in the movie, or the series director for season 1 in the movie of K, and then they co-directed season 2 of K, Return of Kings, which I still need to watch. I heard it wasn't that great, but I still want to watch it just for completionist sake because I already saw K, and I don't remember if I saw the movie. I don't think I did, but maybe I did. I don't fucking remember. Anyways, but yeah, So pretty much the entire staff were are at least in some regard people who worked on K. So unsurprising in that regard. Next we have, I mentioned it before, Kimono Friends, the one with the one of the supporting roles is a voice actress who's brand new and is doing the lead role in Yonko Days. Japeri, or maybe you don't pronounce the J, Yaperi Park? I don't know. It's a gigantic integrated zoo. In the zoo, due to the mysterious sand star substance and the animals start the animals start turning into human-shaped creatures called animal girls. Oh. Japeri Park is a place where many people visit and have fun at, but one day a lost child wanders into the park. The lost child starts a journey to return, but because so many animal girls join in on the quest, it becomes an unexpected grand adventure. So interestingly, this is based on a game, which is odd, but it has a manga. Oh, no, wait. I think, because I remember I saw it was based on a game and I got confused, and so I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure it's not based on a game. It's based on a manga, because there is a manga of this that's been running since 2015, May 2015. So I don't know why it says it was behind a game. Maybe the manga's adapted from a game? I don't know. I looked it up. Interestingly enough, the Kimono Friends manga is the first manga that the author has written. Before that, they did art not for other manga, but for light novels. So they did art for random light novels, and then they wrote Kimono Friends, and they're also doing the art for Kimono Friends. So from going to light novel artist to a mangaka is weird. Because the process and quality of art in light novels is a very different thing from manga. So that's interesting. The studio, Yaoyo Rozu, whatever. The studio's only done a show called Minarai Diva before. I don't know if it was a short, but there you go. The director is brand new. Interestingly enough, the director has done 2 manga that nobody's heard of. One's called Hachigatsu no Mori, which translates to A Day in August, and another called Moshimo Negaiga, which translates to If the Wish is Fulfilled. Both of them only had a few chapters each. But yeah, the director is brand new to directing, but they did manga before this, 2 of them, the ones I listed. So that's another case where it's like really weird, for them to be doing something. I just find that odd. And then the person on the script did a couple of random kid shows that they're just whatever. Outside of the one I already mentioned, where one of the supporting roles is the main person from Nyanko Days, there's lots of brand new voice actors and voice actresses in general in this show. Some of them are slightly new, whereas some are brand new. And then there's a few weird exceptions. For example, one of the characters is voiced by Aya Uchida, who you may know as Katori from Love Live, which is like, that is not a low-profile voice actress. So maybe they got a bunch of new blood, and like, we don't want to do entirely new or almost new people. Let's get a couple, old school professionals in here. So they got Aya Uchida and I think one other person that I remember had quite a few credits. So that's very strange. But yeah. Next we have, this is weird because I know it's supposed to be Italian. Piace? I don't know. I can't do Italian. Piace, watashi no Italian. I'm pretty sure that just translates to whatever piace is, and then I'm Italian. High schooler Morina Nanaze starts work at Trattoria Festa, an Italian restaurant filled with various and sundry quirky characters, and where through its unique cuisine, she will begin to mature as a person. So this is based on a manga that's been running since October 2013. It's the only manga that the author who also does the art has done. But they did character design and chief animation directing for Tokyo Ravens. They also did character design and chief animation for Nana de Kaoru and Ukami Kakushi, if anyone can remember that fucking train wreck. So again, really weird that it seems like people doing manga are now like becoming staff members in shows, and this is like the reverse. This person did character design and chief animation directing for Tokyo Ravens, while also having done this. Well, I guess because their manga would have already been running when they did chief character design, they did chief animation directing and character design for Tokyo Ravens. So they like stopped work on it for a while to do this. It's weird. It's weird that there's overlap. That doesn't seem like an overlap that would happen because the manga industry's scheduling is brutal. So it doesn't seem like they'd have time to do anything like this, but whatever. The director has done stuff you've mostly never heard of, so I didn't bother to put anything down. The most notable thing they've done was Kaicha wa Maid-sama, if anyone remembers that. They also did a TV version of something that people may have heard of called Parappa the fucking Rapper. There was an anime version of this that was like 30 episodes long or something. I think there were a couple shorts. And they directed that. It's from like the 2000s. It's ridiculous. It's like, what the fuck? So that's weird, but kind of awesome at the same time. And then other than Yoko Hikasa, the voice actors behind this are all relatively new. Some are pretty high profile, actually. Some are I should say, what I mean to say when I wrote this note, because again, I should reword how I put these because these are stupid. I need to write these better. Yuka Hikasa is like a AAA voice actress. Like, she's done all kinds of shit. She's really popular. All the other VAs are relatively new, but the thing is, while they haven't done that many roles, they've still done high-profile ones. For example, one of them, named Yuki Yonai, did the lead character of Cheerdanshi, did Sayaka Senbogi, or never mind, that's another... I need to rewrite these notes. Like, let me try that again. Yuki Yonai did the lead character of Cheerdanshi. Another voice actress, Sayaka Senbogi, did Mume in Kabaneri, and Yohei Azakami's fourth role, and only one that had more than 2 lines, was the lead character of Kuromukuro. So, Yohei Azakami did 3 roles where they did, like, these side characters that had, like, a line or 2 each in the show. And then their 4th role was the lead character of Kuromukuro, which I can't remember his name, but he's the samurai dude. Like, what the fuck? That's a huge leap. So, again, like, all these voice actresses and voice actor are, like, relatively new as far as, like, the number of roles they've done, but they have, like, that one role that's like, what the fuck? That was a huge role. The one probably least popular is the lead character of Cheerdanshi, but even then, like, that's still, like, the lead role of, like, you know, a decently popular show, so it's like, whoa. Interestingly, another voice actress on this show is Hiromi Igarashi, who's voicing the character of Sarah Terry. She's done stuff here and there, not too many roles, but like, and largely supporting roles, never any real main roles or anything. Probably the most high profile role she did in anime was Girls I Can't Be Your Father, or whatever that show was called, where she did the like 3-year-old or whatever in that. That was probably the most high profile role she's done. But what's interesting is that Hiromi Igarashi is kind of like infamous. I don't even know if I should say infamous, but like kind of renowned in a way as far as voice actresses go, because she's like one of the very few, maybe even the only voice actress who openly credits the hentai she's voiced for. And she's done a lot of hentai work. Quite a few different roles all over the place, but generally, if there's a little sister role in a hentai, she's probably the one who's voiced them. If you notice, like, similar voices, if you've seen hentai, and it's like, this voice sounds familiar in other hentai I've heard, it may have been Hiromi Igarashi, because she, like, still openly does hentai. Like, quite a few decent roles. Like, she's gotten a couple roles in anime. She could probably go full-on, like, anime without, you know, and ditch the hentai, but she still does it and openly credits that she's done it. Like everyone else does like pseudonyms and shit because they don't want to be associated with it professionally on their resume, or at least in the public. I guess they would still say what they've done on the resume for as far as getting roles because people need to know what roles they've done. But yeah, she openly publicly has her record of like hentai she's voiced for. It's just like there. It's crazy. It could also just be a case of like she was credited on one hentai role and then everyone just noticed her voice in everything she's done and they were just like, well, she obviously did that voice. But yeah, it's very interesting. She's if it is actually the former case and she's just openly crediting the roles she's done, like I don't give a fuck. Damn, more power to her. That's awesome. This takes some considerable balls. Everyone else hides it. So kudos to her if that's the case. Anyways, I'm spending a little too much time on that. Just fun fact for people to learn. The next show is called One Room. I'm already wearing out my voice. I need to hurry up. We're getting pretty close. The interesting thing about this show is before I even read the thing, because the promo thing here is actually mistranslated. The promo thing here says the series will tell 3 stories raised in your one room. When I looked up the synopsis, or when I was on the show, there was something that was worded very similarly, but yet had a very different meaning, and I figured that was what they actually meant to put here. And the line was, it's a bunch of short stories about 3 girls raised in one room. So rather than 3 stories, the 3 was supposed to be associated with the girls. And then there's a postscript where a spin-off anime, which airs the next season, called Roommate One Room Side M, which is the same thing except the 3 characters are male. Which is very odd. There's not much information about this. The episodes are 10 minutes long each. I noticed that, so they're not full length, they're 10 minutes. It's the first show from the studio, Typhoon Graphics. Again, they could have done like really minor stuff on other shows, but their first full credit for this is this show. More interestingly is that there's no director listed for this show. There's just no director. It's like, interesting. There's no director. Maybe it's a case where they're just gonna let the voice actresses ad lib. Because the voice actors list behind this isn't AAA, but is like at least NA, because it's got like Suzuko Momori, Mao Ichimachi, God, I'm tripping over my tongue. Mao Ichimichi, and Rei Murakawa. So decently popular, but not like Aoyuki, Kanadasawa, shit like that. Like they're like almost AAA, but like not quite there yet. So pretty solid voice actors cast behind it. So who knows? God, my voice is dying. You can probably hear my voice dying on this. Next is Chaos Child. Nope, it didn't help. My throat's still fucked. Let's just try and get through this. After a magnitude 7.8 earthquake hits Tokyo's Shibuya ward on November 6, 2009, a black fire spreads and causes mass panic on the day of the earthquake. The sudden disaster that becomes known as the Shibuya earthquake kills 3,851 people and injures 30,927 more. In the original game, the story is set in a reconstructed Shibuya district in October 2015. A string of mysterious deaths occurs in Shibuya amidst the reconstruction. People begin to take notice as the strange events start on the same day that chaos broke out in Shibuya with a certain incident 5 years earlier. The events are called the Return of the New Generation Madness. That 5 thing before comment, I believe, is a reference to Chaos Head, because I believe it takes place in the same universe, it's just in the future. So if people didn't know, the Colon series is pretty popular, or at least was pretty popular, because first came out Chaos Head, which was shit. No one liked it. It was dumb. And then after that, Steins Gate came out, and everyone loved Steins Gate. It was great, phenomenal. Everyone thought it was the best shit. And then Robotics Notes came out, and that was a pile of garbage. And then Occultic 9 came out, and while I enjoyed it for the most part, I understand why people were turned off by it. At least it was like, God, at least things happened in Occultic 9, and at least it had some actual fucking style behind it, unlike fucking Robotics Notes. God, I literally cannot remember anything that happened in Robotics Notes. It was so forgettable and boring. God, that show sucked ass. Anyways, so when Steins Gate was good, and everyone figured like, oh, is the Colon series like gonna get good from now on? And then Robotics Notes was boring. Everyone's like, maybe it's gonna be a one-off thing. Like every other Colon series is gonna be good. And then Occultic 9 came out, and like I said, well, I thought it was good enough. It obviously wasn't the same quality of something like Steins Gate. So that's thrown out the window. So I don't think anyone's gonna give Colon series benefit of the doubt anymore. It's pretty much thrown out the window at this point. Doesn't mean it can't still get good at sometimes. There's still the distinct possibility of a good Colon show coming out, but it's looking more and more like Steins Gate was just like a stroke of luck. Just like it happened to be good. Like just by sheer coincidence. But lightning is always possible to strike twice, so who knows? This Pro will probably be decently popular, if anything, because again, it's a Colon series show. People will want to see if it's good or not. I said people weren't going to give it the benefit of the doubt anymore, but that doesn't mean people aren't going to, like, watch it. They're just not going to expect it to be good. They're just going to hope that it's going to be good, but expect it to not be that great. Which is probably the approach I'm going to take, because I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to expect much from it, but if it's good, it's good. Who knows? The director of this did season 2 through 4 of Prisma Ilia. and is also doing the series composition of this show, which is something they've never done before. They've never done the series composition for anything. This is the first series composition they're doing. So that's interesting. The music guy behind this, Takeshi Abo, and I might get some of this information wrong, so correct me if I'm mistaken. He did the music for Steins Gate. I believe he did the anime and the visual novel, but they could have just shared music for all I remember. I think the anime just had like, it had music from the visual novel, and I thought it had like some extra tracks and like remixed versions of ones from the visual novel, but I could be wrong. But interestingly enough, he's also listed as having done music for the Infinity series, mainly Ever 17. So that's pretty cool. So the dude did music for fucking Steins Gate. That was pretty good. So maybe at least the music for this one will be good. It kind of throws it all out the window though, because I looked this up and there was an original. It's hard to say when it comes to visual novels in a studio like 5PB and like 5PB, because it could be overlap all over the place. But the original creator credited on the show, which could be the writer, could be the producer, who knows, is the same person as Robotics Notes. So that's depressing because Robotics Notes was so incredibly boring. But maybe they learned their lesson. Who knows? The blue hair character, not the dude, but the female. There's a female blue haired character you don't see in this promo image. Is voiced by a mainly new voice actress. I didn't write her name down, but she's not brand new, but she's mostly new. And the main character, this blue-haired dude, is voiced by a guy called Yoshisugu Matsuoka, who is like the fucking dude voice actor in recent years. The most popular stuff he's done, everyone knows him for, is like Kirito of SAO, but he's done a lot of similar roles like that. But then he also did Betelgeuse in Re:Zero. Dude has shown he has quite extensive range, although this seems like more of a straightforward male character of a show, so he's probably going to lean closer to the Kirito voice than anything. But the main character seems like he might be a bit of a cocky douchebag, so maybe he'll mix it up a little with his voice. Who knows? Matsuoka has shown he has phenomenal range and just general acting talent in general. He's fantastic. So at the very least, while going through the show, even if it sucks, at least there's Matsuoka. So hey. After that, we have Kobayashi-san Chino Maid Dragon. Miss Kobayashi is your average office worker who lives a boring life alone in her small apartment until she saves the life of a female dragon in distress. The dragon named Toru has the ability to magically transform into an adorable human girl, albeit with horns and a long tail, who will do anything to pay off her debt of gratitude. Whether Miss Kobayashi likes it or not, with a very persistent and amorous dragon as a roommate, nothing comes easy, and Miss Kobayashi's normal life is about to go off the deep end. So something you may have noticed is that this is the KyoAni show this season, which is weird because this does not seem like the kind of show they would do. It's like a random cutie. Well, I guess a random cute slice of life makes sense, but she's like got the big boobs and everything, and it's like almost fan servicey. But I mean, KyoAni's done fan servicey stuff before. Like we had Musagi no Phantom World, which had the jiggle physics, and also I guess it's not that out the door. The manga's been running since May 2013. It's probably also one of those manga because KyoAni does like this competitions. I don't know if it's just light novels, but they do a competition to like win an award when you enter your stuff, and like all the stuff that's won awards in their competition has been stuff they've adapted. Like I'm pretty sure Amagi Brilliant Park won, Kyohei no Kanata won, I think Musagi no Phantom World won one. So this could be another one of those ones that's like won a thing, but I think those were light novels, so I could be mistaken in that regard. To turn it around though, the director for this did Amagi Brilliant Park, which I loved. It's my favorite KyoAni show. It's hilarious. I think when KyoAni focuses on comedy, it's phenomenal. Although I've heard very good things about Hibiki Euphonium, and I'm going to get around to watching both seasons soon enough. Anyways, the director did Amagi Brilliant Park, but also for other people, not me, he did, I don't know, a movie called Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. So people really liked that movie, so there you go. The series composition person did the script for a bunch of episodes of random stuff, but did the full script for both seasons of No Non Biyori. Slip of the tongue, I'm sorry. So that's interesting. Normally KyoAni's pretty tight-knit. They're a very like, isolationist studio. Like a lot of the same staff work on stuff. They don't really bring in outsiders very often. But this dude has done random stuff in both seasons of No Non Biyori, so definitely an outsider. And then also the Dragon Girl's voice actress, the main chick, I'm assuming, she's somewhat new. The most standout role she's done before this was that one girl in Show Me and Sample that was like albino. Like she had like white everything in her hairs, and her eyes were like bright blue, I believe. But she was like super like white hair, I remember. But yeah, Show Me and Sample's kind of a shit show, so people probably don't remember that anyways. And then after that, we have second season of Konosuba. If you like Konosuba, here's your second season. Everyone likes Konosuba for the most part. I've kind of actually fallen off on Konosuba a little bit since it finished airing. Like, I still like it. I still think it's funny. But, like, the jokes have kind of wore off on me. It was like, yeah, I mean, that was funny. But it's not like I still laugh back in the day. I mean, that happens with almost any comedy, you know? The joke wears off. But, I don't know. We'll see if the second season picks up. Or, hopefully I haven't burned out entirely on the series. I don't want to. I want to enjoy something and laugh at it, so... Or laugh with it, I should say. Although, a lot of Konosuba's humor is self-deprecating, but in universe self-deprecating, so it's weird. Anyways, you get through this so my throat can recover. We're getting pretty close, because although there's, like, you can see another row and stuff to go on this on the chart, a lot of it is sequels. So, anyways, the next show is I don't know how to say this, Marginal number 4, Kiskara Tsukuru Big Bang. So... the anime follows the Marginal number 4 idol unit. The members give their all for their fans and in their idol activities, but they are also normal high school students. The anime will follow both their everyday lives as high school students and their lives as idols. The in-story idol unit, Marginal number 4, will perform the opening theme song, while each episode of the anime will have a different musical act contributing its ending theme song. So I looked up stuff on this, and it's kind of weird. It's like this weird like idol show that JC Staff is doing, but it's just odd in general. I don't know. It's hard to say with idol shows. Like, a lot of them are just trying to milk the idol craze that's happening right now, but, you know. The director behind this is brand new, aside from doing the 3rd episode of a 3-episode OVA called Bungaku Shoujo Memoir, which is just translates to, like, book girl or literature girl memoir. That's the only other thing they've directed. They've done, like, random shit here and there other than that, I believe. Not a whole lot of stuff, just like that was the only other thing they directed was an episode. Like, they haven't even episode directed around the board. That was like the only thing they've done directing wise was an episode of a fucking OVA no one saw. So, hey. Person on series composition for this, Masahiro Yokotani, did the composition for both seasons of Free, so I could see where the appeal could be there with doing a male idol show. And then he also did Maria Holic, or I guess maybe it's pronounced Mira. I don't know how it's pronounced. Maria Holic and its sequel, or whatever that's called. Oh yeah, and the dude also did the main composition and script for ReZero, I guess. That was kind of important, maybe, that he did. But it's important to note that they're very different shows. Like, I'm not gonna expect the fucking idols to fucking die and resurrect constantly, you know? Like, they had a source material to work off of with ReZero that they just, they understood and really liked. So they adapted it in that regard. Whereas this is just like idol shit. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Moving on, we have Super Lovers 2, which obviously is a sequel to Super Lovers. If you watch that, here's your sequel. After that, we have Kizu no Honkai, which translates to Scum's Wish. Hanabi and Mugi are bathed in envious gazers from all around as a beautiful couple with excellent moral conduct. But these two apparently perfect people in an apparently perfect relationship share a secret they can't tell anyone. So I looked this up, and it's not really a spoiler, because it's just kind of like leaving out part of the whole synopsis of this. This is almost Toradora-esque in story. The dude has a crush on someone else, and the chick has a crush on someone else, but this is where it's going to twist a little bit. I said it's like Toradora in that they both have crushes on other people, but it's like a dark version of Toradora, because he has a crush. They each have crush on teachers, different types of teachers, I believe, but like older people. And this is one of those, it's one of those shows that focuses on like the more fucked up side of stuff, like taboo-esque in style, which is very interesting. And I could see this show picking up a lot of steam with people for attention. It's the Noidaman A show of the season, so, and other than fucking Battery, which was just boring as shit and made no sense, Noidaman A tends to be very good on the character front. And I've heard, and Scum's Wish is actually a pretty popular manga. I heard people talking about it even before this anime was like announced, I believe. Scum Swish is decently popular manga among people, so it's good shit from what I've heard. But yeah, it's the Noitamine show of the season, which tends to be good on the character front, with exceptions like fucking Battery. It's adapted from a manga that's been here's something that's interesting. The manga has been running since September of 2012, but it's planning to end in March 2017, which would line up with the ending of the show. I mentioned way before that sometimes manga announce that they're ending along with the anime. This is one of the cases where the ending of the manga has already been announced, March 2017, and the show, if 12 episodes or 13 episodes long, would end in March 2017, at the end of March of 2017. So those could line up very easily. So it could be another show with a very start to finish adaptation. Although with a manga that's running since September of 2012 to March 2017, that might cut out a lot of stuff if it's only 12 or 13 episodes. So even if it's like 26 episodes, and it doesn't coincide with the end of the show's run, at the very least, once it's halfway through, the manga will have ended, and then they'll just adapt the rest. So who really knows on that front? The director for this did Gakugarashi, White Album 2, two shows that a lot of people liked, although he also did Saijaku Muhai no Bahamut, who no one liked. Although it did have fun little moments. There were tiny bits of directing in Saijaku no Muhai no Bahamut that I actually did like. It was just the writing that was complete trash, which was to be expected. Except for a couple tidbits. There were a couple lines in Bahamut that were actually pretty funny. Mainly from one character. The one character almost rescued the show, but then there wasn't enough attention on her. Kind of like how I only watch Infinite Stratos for Charlotte. Like, literally, that's the only reason to, because she's like this beacon of like great character writing and like this weird show that shouldn't have it. But hey. Anyways, the script and composition guy on this did the he's done a lot of stuff. I didn't even list any of it because he's done this. The script and composition guy has just done a ton of different shows, and there's no point in listing them because there's just all over the board. The same music person on this is the same person doing the music for Demi-chan wa Kataritai. If you remember when we covered that, did I even cover the person doing music when I covered that show? Let me look at my notes because I would be in there if that was the case. I didn't even mention the music person. Anyways, music person on in that case, the music person on Demi-chan and this show is the person who did Shigatsu. They did a couple other music pieces too, but probably the most popular is obviously they did the music in Shigatsu. So that's huge. Although a lot of the music in Shigatsu was like popular people's music that they then just used and transformed a bit sometimes. Here's the problem. I could see that a lot of people watching this because of its kind of like dark aspects, and it's almost like I said, I'd call this a dark Toradora from what I've heard of the synopsis and stuff. And it could be really interesting in that regard, and I could see it picking up steam. But remember how I mentioned Amazon Prime picked up 2 shows this season? Guess what the second one is? Yep. Although you probably saw that coming when I mentioned that this was a Noitamine show, because I think Amazon Prime has a contract, or just Amazon, I should say, has a contract with Noitamine, because the last like 3 or 4 seasons, they've had the license for the Noitamine show. Like, I'm pretty sure it started with Cabaneri, although Crunchyroll also got the rights to stream that, so it was like 2 different places got the rights for it. Then after that, Amazon's been like the sole place to watch Noitamine shows, although I don't know if they got Battery. I don't remember. But yeah, so that sucks. But if people find a way to like it, if there's some easy way to watch it for people and it's easily accessible, it gets on Crunchyroll at some point, hopefully, or something like that, then I could see it being pretty popular. Let's do lightning round. Rewrite second season Rewrite. Did anyone even like Rewrite? Here's the second season. After that, we have Sengoku Shoujo Giga Utsa. It's a sequel to some other Sengoku Shoujo Giga thing. No one probably watched it, but here's the sequel if you did. Yamishibai 4th season. I've heard that this is spooky shit the season, or spooky show the show, or too spooky for me the show. Whatever. I fucked that up multiple times. It's a sequel to the 3rd season. This keeps getting seasons. Apparently people like it. And then we finally hit on the last show for me to have notes on, because you'll see why once we cover the other 2 shows, called Bang Dream. What a name. Since she was very young, Kasumi has always been searching for the star beat, a sparkling and exciting sound she heard while looking up at the night sky. Just after getting into high school, Kasumi comes across a star-shaped guitar in the storage area of an old pawn shop. Feeling a rush and excitement she has never felt before, Kasumi teams up with 4 other girls and embarks on a journey to seek out the shiny place. the fuck does that even mean? The shiny place? We promised to perform alive here. What the fuck? This is a promotion all of a sudden? So interestingly enough is that Bang Dream is credited as an original work, but it's not actually original. I looked it up, and there's a manga with the same name that started in April 2016, and a light novel with the same name that started in August 2016. And there were 3 music videos that have been made from February to 2016 to December of 2016. So like February, maybe like August, and then December. And each of those was credited as a different single by Bushiroad's Bang Dream Project band Poppin' Party. Or I should pronounce that correctly. Bushiroad's Bang Dream Project band Poppin' Party. So it's like, I guess it might be a project band within Bang Dream called Poppin' Party, or maybe the main band in Bang Dream is called Poppin' Party. I don't know, but there's like already a music established thing with this show that's going on that's kind of fucking weird. The director for the show has done To Love Ru since the 2nd season. So Moto To Love Ru, and then To Love Ru Darkness, and To Love Ru Darkness Season 2. Also Ladies vs. Butlers, both seasons of Kanoken, so you know the kind of director you've got here. Although I don't think tits are going to start flying in this show. Kind of a weird choice. Series composition person behind this, interestingly enough, did the composition for Flip Flappers, which was a new show. And then also did both seasons of Kiniro Mosaic. So this might actually be a better gauge of what this kind of show is going to be, because that seems to line up a bit better. So series composition person having done Flip Flappers and both seasons of Kiniro Mosaic. So if you liked those, maybe this is the kind of show, maybe you'll like this show, who knows? And then after that we have Gang Gang Gaku-chan, which is a comedy of something. It's some kid show no one's going to watch, so I didn't bother to take any notes, who cares? And then after that we have Kira Precure a la Mode, which is like the 14th series in Precure. So that's insane. But yeah, that's the season. I'd cover any extra shit like movies that seem like they might be cool, but I'm not, because my throat is fucked totally and I want to eat because I'm also hungry at this point. So yeah, that's the season. It was good to go back to doing this, although it fucked my throat. It was nice to and taking notes took a really long time, but it was very satisfying. I'll try and do a better job next season, assuming I don't fuck up and miss next season too. But yeah, I'm going to try and wrap up the winter shows that I haven't finished yet so that I can do my top 10 of the year. That'll probably be the next scripted video that comes out. I'll try and get out a Saturday morning ramblings as soon as possible with Lewis, because we know we're really behind. Lewis needs to finish some of the shows that we were watching, so once he does that and has some free time, we'll record. I mentioned to him that if he has time before our usual recording time, we'll record then, and then I can just put it out when we're done rather than wait. But yeah, at the latest, it should be this weekend, because that's our normally scheduled time, and we should be set for that. But if we can get it out earlier, we will. But yeah, so that'll be the next unscripted video, and the next scripted video should be my top 10 once I finish catching up on shows, which I don't know how long it'll take. Hopefully not long. I'm trying to go through a show a day, but sometimes it's hard, like I'm doing other stuff, so I can't always do it. I'm hoping, like, it'll probably take at least a week to, at the very least, get started on writing the top 10, so don't expect the top 10 within the week. Maybe 2 weeks at most to give me, and the top 10 should be out by then, I'd hope. I'm going to put that as my deadline, 2 weeks from now at the latest, so that'll help push me to finish shows quicker. So when I put that out, I'll see you then. Otherwise, I'm going to go massage my throat. Also, I'll need 2 weeks to recover my throat, possibly, at this rate. So anyways, that was the season, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So bye.